my bigger concern was what happened to the defensive front tonight? They weren't good. Like Johnny Newton and Keith Randolph weren't big difference makers, except for a couple drives in the second half. Denzel Daxon, I thought, had some struggles, especially in the first half. And the outside linebackers lost contain a lot. Gabe Akis with that penalty. I'm not worried about the sacks as much in this game because you're trying to contain DeQuan Finn, but they didn't contain DeQuan Finn and those are your guys. Like you got to be able to really rely on that defensive front, and you couldn't tonight. And I thought the secondary was pretty good tonight. The defensive front was the concern.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of that was balanced for trying to contain DeQuan Finn versus what are we going to see at Kansas. I mean, if it's Jalen Daniels, the same, you got to contain him. So that was a concern because that was the narrative this offseason, right? Like, hey, whatever the changes around this team, and there were substantial changes defensively. You lose your quarterback, you lose Chase Brown. We've talked about all of it for months, Jeremy. But the narrative was, hey, they've got these lines. And they settled in, but it wasn't what we thought, I guess, early on. And you do wonder, first game, I don't think anyone should say right off the lines, but we thought this was going to be like this, like, bully deal. And they had moments, but they also had moments where it's like, oh, that's not what we thought we'd see.
Yeah. I'm not too concerned about Johnny Newton and Keith Randolph for this season.
No.
I would probably be more concerned about Gabe Akis and Seth Coleman struggling a little bit tonight because those guys still have to take their game up another level for this team. So Charlie Bowen and that crew, I'm interested to see how they bounce back. But the linebackers were solid. There was probably some moments in the first half. Toledo's offensive line was really physical tonight. They impressed me. I really like Jason Candle's play calling with their movement about what they were doing up front, but I just expected them to own in the trenches, and they didn't. Toledo outran Illinois 186 yards, 163. I thought Reggie Love had a good second half. Luke Altmaier was great with his legs, but that was a little bit more of a concern than I thought it would be.